Hey, Tony Gasson here, popping in. Now, young lady just mentioned this term to me, twin flame. Now, I've heard this some time ago, and I did my research on it just to see what the author, whoever came up with this, what they mean by it. What you have to realize is that love is romantic and love is romanticized. Now, me having a long list of experience with women in my heyday, but then also now being married for 14 years and being a relationship coach for 14 years. Because when I wrote my first book on relationships, What Daddy Never Told His Little Girl, the title, in 2007, February 1st will make February 1st will make no 14 years. And in those 14 years, let me help you understand something. In those 14 years, I have done one-on-one coaching the entire 14 years. I have coached individuals on 6 different continents. And I have worked with individuals from 6th grade up to 73 years old. I have spoken on love in 3 different continents. So I have been around the world and back. And I have worked with countless individuals. My clients range from unemployed adults to billionaires. I have worked with the NBA since 2010. And after that happened, I worked with NFL players, Major League Baseball players, WNBA players, countless actors, actresses, rappers, singers. Some of you have seen me on television with celebrities, coaching them. I have been on every level of love and relationships in every way. Unless you have done the same, we are not the same. I want to humbly express that to you. Unless you have done the same, we are not the same. So when I tell you something, it is not just this random country boy on YouTube talking. No, this is coming from someone who has been in the trenches of love and relationships as a professional for the last 14 years, almost a decade and a half, okay? That's for the new people. Now, what I need you to understand is humans are always looking for a way to leave a legacy, to live their purpose. And so people create terms. And these terms are typically created by someone who is in a position of power, who experiences something in their life. But what you have to understand is that most of us become what we become from a place of lack. Meaning that the people who experience the most pain and confusion typically become therapists and counselors. And the people who have the craziest life story typically become life coaches. Someone who is giving advice, sharing their story, like myself. So what you have to understand is when you become an author, a speaker, a coach, you go into a space of respectability, and you build a following, and you have authority, meaning that what you say, some people will take it as it's real, as the gospel. You have to be careful when you go on Google or YouTube and you find this term and it explains you and you buy into it and you believe it. You have to be very careful with that, because the root of the term comes from someone who were trying to find a name for what they were feeling. And so the person who wrote Twin Flame had experienced this crazy connection with someone, or they were a professional and had seen this crazy type of connection with someone. But in the true definition of the word, when you look at twin flame, meaning that it's two people who connect so amazingly because of some pain or experiences that they've had, and their souls just come together and mirror one another. That is nothing more than operating from a place of pain and seeking someone to complete you. Nothing more. It's not that this connection is so divine and so intentional and so meant to be. What that is codependency. What that is a void in your heart that you are looking for a human to complete. So because they have a similar experience and they understand what you've gone through, because they've gone through the same thing, now you see them as a twin flame. But this is what you have to understand. Two half-empty people cannot complete one another. Because if you are half empty and you are looking for someone to complete you, they will instead deplete you instead of complete you. Because when someone is fighting for oxygen, they will smother you to have your oxygen. But a half-empty person cannot fill you up without depleting themselves. So this is what you have to understand. And this was not a prop. I just happened to be drinking water and have this on my desk. Wow. Hey, y'all know I use stuff on my desk. But those of you new here, yeah, you don't know. You don't know nothing about how I do. And so if you new, forgive me. Now look at this. Look at this. This person right here is full. If this person come and this person is empty, if I pour this in here to this person here, what will happen at best? They both can be half full, or this person can be completely depleted, and now this person is full. Now this person is left empty. Do you understand what I'm saying? In a relationship, each individual has to do the work so that when they come together, when they have these insecurities and this pain, that's where life coaching, counseling, reading books, and things of that nature come in. So they both have full. But when they go to the well, when they go to the spring of knowledge, of wisdom, of understanding, and they tap into that well, they get full. Now, when they come together, if they're both full, now they don't complete one another. They complement one another. So what you have to understand is that these terms, see, when you read the term, you got to use inference, which means to read between the lines. Because let me help you understand something about love and relationships. One, you can never, ever believe what you see from the outside. It's so many people who they come into the comments singing about an exception to the rule that they know of, but they do not live with that couple. When I say younger men are not genuinely attracted to much older women, meaning 10 or more years older, a woman from another generation. When I say younger men are not genuinely attracted to an older woman, on average, 9 out of 10 times, it's not genuine. You will have people say, oh, well, my grandmother is way older than her husband. What about the president of France? Somebody keep bringing up the president of France. I do not know who this is. But listen to me. You do not know the behind the scenes. So just because this man who is 15 years younger than this woman, you do not know if this man had an Oedipus complex with his mother, and he has forever since he was 5 years old. Give me 1 second. I got to sign for a package. 1 second. Hey, thank you very much. Sorry about that. Been ordering my wife some Valentine's gifts and all January, and they come in, you got to sign for them if they over a certain price point. You do not know if this man has a Oedipus complex, meaning he was attracted to his mother, in love with his mother, and when he became of age, he started to seek out an older woman that reminds him of a mother. You do not know if this man is gay, but afraid to come out of the closet. So he gets with an older woman who is not of his generation, so she cannot read him the way a woman his same age would be able to read him. So therefore, he uses her as his beard, and he hides behind the veil of this marriage, but secretly he is indulging daily in gay porn. Secretly, he is paying male prostitutes on every business trip. See, this is what you don't learn or hear about when you are not a professional in the industry. When you are a professional, that is when the smoke and mirrors no longer exist. That's when you get to go behind the curtain and see what really goes on in what looks like to be an exception to the rule. So when you say my grandmother has this, you do not know them. Do you sleep in their bed? Okay. What human being is going to tell you all of their business and all of their true feelings in complete articulation that leaves no room for question or any doubt? No human being. So even this younger man who is 15, 20 years younger than this woman, he may express his love. But since when have you known men to be 100% honest? So you have to also use common sense. Use common sense. Because if older men try to get with younger women, why is that? Because he feels like she has less men that have been in her body. He feels she has tighter skin. When I say tighter skin, I'm also talking about a tighter area. That she has a tighter body. Less wear, less tear, less wrinkles, less age, less mileage. That is why you see these older men who go into a perverted mind state pursue younger women. The older man is just an older version of the younger man. So why do you think a younger man will be genuinely attracted to an older woman? Even if she's gorgeous and she looks 20 years younger, she is still her age. You can be gorgeous at 50 years old, but that does not mean you're not 50. You can look like you're 30, but you are still 50. You are still on that same body clock. You're still on that same wavelength. You're still on that same lifespan. You are still 50, even if you look like you are 30. You still grew up with the music of someone who is 50. You still grew up with the morals and the values and the traditions of someone who is 50. That 50-year-old has nothing in common other than oxygen with a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old. You have to understand that. So just because you see an exception to the rule on the outside, unless you go in and you can analyze the inside, then you don't know what you're looking at, because that may be exactly proving the hypothesis to be true, that there is something off in this younger man who is with this much older woman. I'm not talking about 3 years older or 5 years older. I'm talking about 10 years or more. You do not know what he has gone through, because a man will never tell you every single thing he has gone through. When have you met a man who has told you 100% truth that you can verify? You can't. You can't. Point blank simple. Point blank period. So, and I'm saying that proper for the new people who watching this. Point blank period. Okay? So listen to me. Soulmate doesn't exist. Hate to tell you. Twin flame doesn't exist. I hate to tell you. Because let me help you understand something about love. Is that you have to work. There is no such thing as a perfect couple. There is no such thing as a perfect connection. There is no such thing as a perfect match. Because when you have two humans, work has to be done. Me being a professional, I have seen the happiest couples outwardly. The world is in love with the couple, but behind the scenes, it is a ticking time bomb. And it always blows up. Listen to me. So even with my wife and I, as amazing as we may look, as happy as we may look, as great as we get along, guess what? It takes work. It took a lot of work to get here. And we have to work every single day. A relationship never goes on autopilot. A relationship is a job that you cannot retire from, because you have to work. You cannot get complacent. Every day you have to find a way to show your partner that you love him or her. Every day you have to renew your mind so that you don't wake up on the wrong side of the bed and take your nightmares, your bad dreams, your pain out on your spouse. There is no such thing as a twin flame. but meaning this perfect couple that just happened to connect. And the young lady who mentioned it today, she was talking about that typically it's a younger man with an older woman. Now, the definitions and explanations of twin flame online say nothing about a younger man being with an older woman. Listen, that's not a twin flame. That is a grown boy. An adolescent boy in the body of a grown man who meets a woman that reminds him of his mother, who he came from, who he sucked on her breast. So now when he meets this older woman who can cook and clean and nurture and care for him, he is reminded of his infancy, his toddlership, his adolescent years. And he is looking for a security blanket. He is looking for a human teddy bear because he is not genuinely attracted to her. He is looking for comfort. He is looking for someone who appears to be full to come and fill him up. This is what he's looking for. He wants to deplete her, or vice versa. I've heard someone say, well, my grandmother is with a much younger man and he pays the bills and he loves her and he caters to her and she doesn't lift a finger. You do not know what she went through at the hands of a man that turned her into the type of woman who can get a man to serve her. And you do not know what he went through to become the man that will serve this woman hand and foot and relinquish his mind, his thought process, his heart, and all of these things. Give me 1 second, another pack. 1 second. 1 second. Hey, thank you. All right. Hey, y'all forgive me. Remember my wife shopping yesterday. Bergdorf Goodman in New York, and they overnighted and you got to sign for it. So let me help you understand this. So you can't look at something and just say, oh, that's a twin flame, because you don't know the inner workings. You don't know what they deal with in their bedroom. You don't know the conversations behind closed doors. You don't know the deficiency. You don't know the trauma, the pain. You don't know what shaped them to be drawn to this abnormal connection. Because things that are intended to be is going to make sense. It will be common sense, because love is not rocket science. See, we do not find love. We create love. See, twin flame and soulmate implies that you found love, that you bumped into this person and they were everything. The term life partner, that is a choice. It's not someone that you've met and they're just so perfect for you. No, I could leave my wife any day. My wife could leave me any day. We could come up with a million reasons to leave, but we have come up with a million reasons to stay. It is a choice that we have made. So listen, stop going to Google to search for a term to define your abandonment, your brokenness, your codependency, your pain, your trauma, your ailments. Stop looking for closure or an explanation to what you're feeling and just live. Because that's the same problem with horoscopes and psychic readings and tarot readings, is you're going to something trying to understand the unknown. And what you don't realize is you are depending on humans to define you and to label you. And when your brain hears this label, it accepts this label and it cannot go beyond it. It cannot change from it because it has accepted what you said is truth. What you have to understand is that love is fluid. The human experience is fluid. It's like water. Bruce Lee said, "Be water, my friend." The human experience, it can expand, it can conform. If I poured this water out on my desk, would it keep this same shape? If I poured this water into a bowl, would it keep this same shape? If I poured this water down the drain, would it just cease to exist? No. The human experience is the same. It truly cannot be labeled. It truly cannot be defined because the human mind cannot wrap itself around itself because humans did not create humans. So therefore, the creation cannot understand the full creation because the creation has a creator that is higher, that is greater. And we have to understand that when you place labels, I do not call my wife my life partner. I do not call my wife my twin flame. I do not call my wife my soulmate. What I do is I love. And I get up every day and I work on love. Because love is not complacent. Love is not found. If you are looking for love, you will never find it. Love is not found. Love is created. And love can be created between any two objects, between any two heartbeats, between any two people, because love is an action, not a noun. Love is not a thing that you find. Love is something you do. Love is what you create. A relationship is never a match made in heaven because matches are not made in heaven. Matches are made in real life. Your paths can be crossed with someone and it will feel like a divine alignment. It will feel like a cosmic collision, but there is no term to define it. The work must be done. The work has to be done. So I'm here to tell you, stop Googling and start living. Stop searching and start being. And when you do that, you will create everything that you need and want in your life. When you be and you do, and you stop searching. Understand what I'm saying. Listen to this 3 times if you need to. Take the labels off of your life. Someone has labeled you ADHD. Someone has labeled you dyslexic. Someone has labeled you bipolar. Someone has labeled you a twin flame. Someone has labeled you a soulmate. There are quote unquote twin flames and soulmates dying in relationship because they told themselves they were soulmates. So they are staying even though they are suffering abuse. Even though they are crying out, they are telling the world that they are soulmates, and the world is telling them that they are soulmates. And so because they have found a term, they have stopped working because they believe that you can meet someone and be a perfect match. See, listen, I'm only 36 and I'm black. And I'm male. That's 3 strikes against me in the world of love. Because men have been terrible lovers across the world and in the history of love. Black people have been shunned and talked about and seen as less than. I'm also country. People think country is dumb. But guess what? One day, I will be able to articulate a new understanding of love without labels from Google, but from real life experience, studying the human experience for decades, and not just studying it, but living and perfecting it in love. And I am here to tell you, I am on to something. And what I've already found in 14 years of marriage, in my prime, I didn't get married at 40. I got married at 23. In the sexual peak of my life, I shut it down and devoted myself to one woman. After having been with over 100 women. And the comparison, being on the opposite end of the spectrum, has taught me a lot. But beyond that, working with individuals on 6 different continents and in the area of love and relationships from the age of 16 to the age of 73. And as a client, but personal relationships as high as the age of 88. I have learned a lot on a much higher clip than the average human being. I still have today over 10,000 love and relationship emails that are unread. And I have read thousands, tens of thousands, by now hundreds of thousands. In 2015, my Facebook page, which was focused on love and relationships, reached 20 million people a week. 80 million people a month. Do the math. What is 80 million times 12? I reached nearly 1 billion people. Some of them recycled. But I reach hundreds of millions of people with love and relationship advice and quotes that inundated my inbox with love and relationship experiences. My inbox on Instagram, on email, on Facebook is flooded with thousands of experiences. I'm here to tell you, my finger is on the pulse. I know you think you know what these things are because you met someone or because you have a family member. But I'm here to tell you, until you get all the way in the trenches and you dedicate your life to building the foundation of the world, which is love and relationships, until then, you will not truly be awakened to what we call love. And that's the space I'm in, and that's the space I've been in for 14 years. So I'm here to tell you, it gets real on the other side. Stop labeling yourself. Stop searching for a diagnosis. When you study the mind and you understand how the mind works, you will realize that you are trapping yourself with labels, that you are blocking and hindering your growth and your progression in your life with labels, that you are trying to put a definite definition on something that is infinite, something that is beyond complete comprehension. We will understand it, but we will never fully be able to articulate love, because God is love. And we will never be able to fully explain God, nor will we be able to fully explain love. So the best we can do is know that we do not know what we think we know, and that we must continuously be on a pursuit of creation, creating, being, and doing, instead of trying to define and label the experience of humans. Hey, this is Tony Gaskins, best-selling author, celebrity life coach, what the world calls it. Most importantly, servant of God and husband and father. If this is your first time interacting with one of my videos, take some time. Get a little deeper. And I'm going to take you on this journey with me of what I'm discovering and learning about love. And it is much deeper and much wider than you've ever dreamt or imagined. I'm here to tell you. Hey, God bless you. We'll talk soon.